Bonjour, good morning. Welcome, everybody. And the elections are now over. I do want to say that history was made with regards to our Native American ladies, I'll say. Sharice Davids, Deb Holland, and Peggy Flanagan being elected into offices within the government, and big kudos to them, and we look forward to working with them in the future. So, and also to everybody else that ran for offices in our Native American communities, miigwech to them also. With that, I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, please. Here.
Here. Here.
Okay, I see our spiritual advisor isn't here. Do you want to do the offering or no? Okay. Shane will do the invocation this morning. Next, we have approval of the agenda.
One deletion. I'd like to delete the stand day item for today.
Deletion. Any other additions or deletions to the agenda? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the agenda with that deletion. Moved by David. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Approval of minutes from the Tribal Council meeting held in Nett Lake on October 17th, 2018. There's no questions or comments on the minutes. I'll call for a motion to approve. Moved by Shane. Is there a second? Seconded by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Introduction of new staff.
I don't believe we have any new staff at this moment.
Consent agenda. Approved awarding the Nett Lake Court's criminal code revision contract to Jacobson Law Firm. Approve the request from Terri Drift to sole source the purchase of a water softener from Culligan in the amount of $2,995 and $500 for installation for the Assisted Living Center in Nett Lake. Adopted Resolution 30-2019, authorizing the Director of Housing or Acting Director, if there is no Director, to execute and deliver documents necessary for Red Pine Development LLC. Just for the audience's knowledge, is at the last meeting, the contract for the criminal code revision was awarded to Harrington. There was an appeal filed, and then the council awarded the contract to Jacobson Law Firm. So with that, I'll call for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Shane. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried.
Next on the agenda, we have Barb Brodeen with resolutions for leases, land appraisal.
Good morning, Barb.
Morning. Okay, the first item I have is a renewal of a recreational lease for Marlys Carlson.
This is in Vermillion, Barb?
Yes, on Tibbetts Trail. They have a cabin there, and this is one of the leases that generates revenue for the leasing program.
Okay. If no questions for Barb or comments, I'll call for a motion to approve recreational lease for Marlys Carlson.
Actually, question.
Oh, go ahead, Shane.
You said it generates revenue for the tribe or the leasing program?
Yep,
Is it on a monthly basis or a yearly basis?
yearly,
Yearly basis?
yeah.
Okay.
It's $9,187.50.
Okay, all right. That's all the question I have.
Okay. If no other questions, I'll call for a motion to approve the recreational lease for Marlys Carlson.
I'll move.
Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried.
Next, I have a new residential lease request for Raymond Thompson. Actually, it's Ray and Becky. And this lot is the old Dave and Bev Steele's lot up in Nett Lake. It's for a 25-year plus an additional 25-year zero payment. 'Cause
And currently, there's
because Ray
nothing,
is a bad member.
there's currently nothing on this lot at
No,
all.
there's currently nothing on there. They would have to do some work in order to hook up to the community water and sewer.
Okay, and then, who would that expense be, fall upon?
Joel?
Well, she said that they have to hook up like sewer and water, and I asked them, who would that expense fall upon? Would that not fall? Home, okay.
Joel?
When we demoed that house probably 4 years ago, after it burnt, we left stub outs for the water and for the sewer. If they need us to locate it, we can do it. But it'll be up to them to hook it up to their house.
Okay, and then, do they have any, back water bill, or they have a payback agreement, I believe?
Yes.
I don't think we can discuss that here, but I would imagine we could check into that.
Okay,
They're good.
all right, thank you.
Yep.
Joel, wouldn't they be eligible for the IHS help to get the water and sewer in?
they've never been served by IHS, yes. That they can apply for it. It might take a little while, but I mean, it's not gonna be that much to hook it up. You know, they might wanna save it for their one time, being served by IHS down the road. Because IHS will pay for basically everything, and I don't, if it's $500,000 to hook it up versus the $50,000 IHS might pay for a new water and sewer if you ever need it, you know, it might be worth it for them to save that for down the road. But it's up to them, but yes, they would do it.
Okay.
Is somebody going, if they do get the lease or whatever it is approved, is somebody going to be contacting them with this information regarding IHS?
We certainly can. They'll have to come into our office and register for water and sewer, and we'll let them know at that time.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Any other questions or comments?
I had a question. I had a comment. I believe that house was the one that was just removed. Was that twice that it burnt?
3 times there's been a burning on that lot.
And one death.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, personal opinion is probably, this is my personal opinion, we probably shouldn't burn on that lot, or the lease on that lot. It's my own personal opinion.
Understandable, Chief, understandable. If there's no other comments, do we have a motion to approve the residential lease for Raymond Thompson?
No move.
Moved by Shane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Travis, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, silent, motion carried.
I do got a little comment on that too.
Opposed?
Oh, I'm sorry, one opposed.
Ray does know the history of that lot, and he was gonna bring in some spiritual people to do something, to try, cleanse the lot, or do something so he wouldn't feel endangered.
I think that'd be a good idea to do that, and then hopefully they'll take care of whatever's there, take care of it, hopefully.
Okay.
And that is, we don't have very little lots available within Nett Lake
community.
itself, and so that was the only lot that was available at this time.
Okay.
Next, I have a resolution, and it's basically back in November, on November 1st of 2017, the RTC approved a proposal for Great River Energy to reroute and replace the electrical transmission line up by the Y store. We have their right-of-way application. They did get an appraisal done on the land, but when I talked to the tribal council last time, the tribal council wanted to have the BIA do a separate appraisal to make sure that we are getting, the money that we deserve. And so in order for me to request BIA to do a land appraisal, I have to send in a resolution from the tribal council. And so before you is the resolution stating that it is the request of the tribal council to have the BIA do the land appraisal.
Okay. I'll just read it for those that aren't here right now, but I'll start with the whereas pursuant to Article 6, Section 1C of the revised Constitution and bylaws of the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe, the Bois Forte Reservation Tribal Council is authorized to manage, lease, permit, or otherwise deal with lands owned by the United States of America in trust for the Bois Forte Band of Chippewa. And whereas on November 1st, 2017, the Reservation Tribal Councils approved a proposal by Great River Energy to reroute and replace an existing electrical transmission line on trust lands near the Y store and to conduct a survey of the proposed route of the new line, and whereas Great River Energy has prepared a right-of-way application to the Bureau of Indian Affairs that includes the amount of compensation it proposes to pay for the right-of-way, and whereas the Reservation Tribal Council finds that it is in the best interest of the band to request that the Bureau of Indian Affairs determine the fair market value of the proposed right-of-way as contemplated by 25 CFR 169.110B, 2016, and now therefore be it resolved that the Bois Forte Reservation Tribal Council hereby requests that the Bureau of Indian Affairs and the Office of Appraisal Services determine fair market value for the proposed right-of-way in accordance with 25 CFR 169.114 from 2016, and authorizes the Bois Forte Land Leasing Manager to provide such information as necessary to expedite such a determination. Do we have any questions or comments on the resolution? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve.
I got a question.
Go ahead, Jane.
The Great River Energy is gonna be, wants to reroute. How important is that? Is that to them, or is it important to us as well?
No, it's important for us as well, because what they're doing is they're rerouting that line around, up by the Y store on the right, left-hand side, there is a line transmission that goes through our land, and so if they reroute that, it kind of takes that away and it frees up that, land, more land for us up there to, whether we want to put a building there or another business or whatever. So, and it's also, go ahead, Corey.
It's a better transmission line also. It can handle more electricity running
More
through
power.
there. So it's an enhancement for this area that's gonna help, not only Fortune Bay, but it'll help the area here. So we'll have power. If there's a power outage on a Cook side, they reroute it coming this way. So they have a couple of ways in, so it's an
Okay.
improvement over the line, but we're finally getting the proper right-of-ways approved and compensated for those right-of-ways.
Okay.
For the new tribal council members, just a little history that whenever these types of projects go on, Great River Energy did come and meet with us regarding this to get our input and our comments and concerns or talk about the line and its benefits or not benefits. So just for your information, when these types of transactions happen, we will be having meetings with those organizations prior to it coming to here, but because you guys weren't on at the time, that's where a lot of the information was. But we did want to get our own appraisal on the land.
And I think these
Just as
discussions have been in
information.
place for probably about 2 years now, that we've actually been meeting with these guys. So,
But they do come up and meet with us, so.
Good. No further questions.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the BIA OST land appraisal request?
Move.
Moved by Travis, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
And just a note to the council, Great River Energy is going to be on site today doing some soil borings, and I did ask for clearance for that a while back from the tribal council, and it was approved,
Okay.
so, but they are gonna be up there today.
Okay.
And I believe Tara and the conservation officers and somebody else was notified, because one of the things that we requested is that when there's an outside entity coming onto trust land or reservation land, that they go through our DNR service and also the land office to make sure that we know who's coming on
Okay.
and that they're just not coming on and
Doing
doing
something.
whatever, so.
Good.
So I'll be going up to meet with them this afternoon.
Okay.
so.
Good
All
job,
right.
Barb.
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay, next we have Donna with a contract, MOU agreement and another contract to install a generator.
Oh, good morning, Donna.
Good morning. First on the agenda is a contract with Stacy Engel, Anyway, she's would come on the reservation and do 1 day a week, contract services for the mental health behavioral. And as you know, our current staff person will be going on leave starting April.
Can this individual then sign off on the arm stuff and?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Oh,
Hello? Is this one, or is it this one?
either one, that one.
This one?
Yeah.
Hello? Better? And so Mark has reviewed this contract, and she would start as soon as possible. And also focus on children. This individual would focus specifically more on children also.
Okay. Well, I got a questions on the second page.
Sure.
It's underneath the number 2 item. It says term. This agreement shall be effective from its execution date for a period of 1 year unless sooner terminated as provided in section 7. This agreement will renew automatically for successive 1-year terms until terminated as provided in section 9 or by mutual agreement of the parties. Now, what exactly does that entail? What does that mean?
So after 1 year, if everything is going smoothly, we don't have to come back with the contract. It'll automatically renew
So
until further.
So you wouldn't need tribal council approval to do it?
Right.
Just continuous,
Yes.
yeah.
Just want to get that clarified. And then, if you turn back to the last page on 3.3, number 10, it says, construction, this agreement shall be subject to and construed in accordance with the substantive laws of the state of Minnesota. We as Bois Forte are not relinquishing our sovereignty or giving them authority on the reservation, right?
Right. But she, as a licensed individual, has to follow the state of Minnesota
Just
laws.
on their side.
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's
With
all I have.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? I think it's a much-needed service and good planning on your part, Donna, to get someone in as soon as possible. And Stacy, is she coming from a long distance or locally?
Hibbing.
Oh, that's not bad. Good. Any other comments on the contract with Stacy England? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve,
I'll move.
and it would be effective today.
Yes.
Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Silent? Motion carried.
Next on the agenda is a memorandum of understanding between the Mayo Clinic and the Bois Forte Health and Human Services. This MOU is basically for research. Sue Larson and I attended a meeting at down at Breezy Point, and it was there was like 20 plus Mayo staff, doctors, psychiatrists, group of individuals. There was other tribal individuals there. There was Leech Lake, Fond du Lac, Mille Lacs. And anyway, what they're doing is we'd come together and they would do research. So we'd mainly, you know, if they are identifying a research project, that we would, you know, go in and work with them, identify, you know, kind of come as a team on this research project. One of the recent research projects that they did was ACLs, and we didn't participate in that, but other tribes have. But that would be kind of things that, so if there's a sports, diabetic, we would highly recommend that our providers go. Sue and I went, but we would, like there was Dr. Gunderson there from Mille Lacs, we would, you know, recommend our providers to be more involved in this research project.
So Donna, what you're saying is that if say, for example, I'll use this as an example, heart disease.
Yes.
If we want to do research for Bois Forte specific, heart disease in American Indians or Native Americans, that we could access the Mayo researchers and kind of maybe use it as a general overall for all the tribes?
Yeah, they would, it would also, it's kind of mainly towards, focused towards grants. So if they
Okay.
identify a grant and
Okay.
that grant is specific for whatever, you know, whether it's diabetes, heart,
Okay, got it.
cardiovascular, they would, you know,
Okay.
that researcher would work with the tribes.
Good. I see other tribes are already participating, so I think it's a really good idea. We always say we need data, and having the Mayo participate with that is huge. Any other comments or questions for Donna? Now I'll call for a motion to approve the MOU between Mayo Clinic and Bois Forte Health and Human Services.
Move.
Moved by Travis, is there a second? Second by Dave, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Okay. Morning, Andy.
Good morning. So this next item is approval of a bid to install a backup electrical generator at the Nett Lake Clinic. And just by way of background, the generator itself was one of the used generators that had been here at Fortune Bay, and they
Okay.
donated it to us. The generator is in decent enough condition and still has some life to it, but as part of that installation, there's also automatic switchgear that has to be installed. And so we had an electrical engineer take a look at the generator and spec out what kind of switchgear was necessary and what the installation specs would be. And we put out a request for bids, sent it out to 5 electrical contractors locally. 3 of them showed up and did site visits, which we were requiring prior to bid so that they knew what all was involved in the project. But only 2 of them bid on it. So we have Nelson Colley Electric and we have Parsons Town and Country Electric, both of whom have done work on the reservation before. With the base bid, and then there was some generator startup costs, and then we're recommending we go with a 5-year extended warranty on the switchgear because it's not that expensive. So based on that, Parsons Town and Country was about $900 less than Nelson Colley Electric, but both of them were over what we had budgeted. We had budgeted based on the engineer's estimate, about $32,000 is what we thought the bids were going to come in at. So we invited both of these contractors to provide a proposed deduct alternative to go with aluminum conductors rather than copper. And we consulted with the electrical engineer and also with both of those contractors to make sure that they felt that, yeah, that's perfectly acceptable, it meets code, and there's a substantial cost savings by doing that. And so based on those deducts, the final bids were Nelson Colley at $37,442.50 and Parsons at $38,494.50. So based on that, we're recommending the contract be awarded to Nelson Colley in the amount of $37,442.50.
Donna, this will be coming out of your health budget?
Yes.
Okay. I know one of the issues in the past, and this works with emergency preparedness and emergency management, is the clinic did not have a backup generator, and a lot of the immunizations and the lab machines and all the equipment up there, it really affected the clinic. And so I think this is a huge, I'm glad that Fortune Bay was able to donate that generator. It just helps us out a bit with the emergency preparedness to meet that need for the clinic, because I always remember them coming down to the RTC with the immunizations, because we have a generator at the RTC. So this really enhances our emergency preparedness, and that's great. Good job.
Yeah, it does.
My question is that it says here 5-year extended warranty, 2-year warranty comes standard. Under Nelson Colley Electric, it's $550. Under Persons Town and Country Electric, it's $615.50. Now, is that yearly, or is that just a one-time?
No, just a one-time.
One-time thing? Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions regarding the electrical contractor to install the generator and switchgear for the clinic in Nett Lake? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the low bid of Nelson Colley Electric at $37,442.50.
I'll move.
Moved by Shane, is there a second? Second by Dave, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Thank you.
Do you know when they'll get started on this?
I'm going to call them today.
Okay.
The key thing is they have to pour an
Slab,
concrete slab.
electric slab?
And we did have Robbie's crew put down insulating blankets over the
Okay.
area to keep the ground from freezing.
Okay.
So I would imagine that by next week, they'll be able to mobilize
Good.
and get that slab installed.
So they're gonna be able to stay within the bid, right? They're not gonna be able to come
Yes.
back and say, hey, we need more money.
Yeah, unless something unusual comes up, but that's why we required them to do a site visit ahead of time, so they know what the conditions are.
I would hate to see that happen, where they bid on something, they come back and say, oh, we need more money now because we need to foresee this or that.
Can't do that.
Thank you,
Thank
good job,
you.
guys.
Okay, last on the agenda, we have some donation approvals and denials for, I guess the donation committee recommends to the council $800 for the St. Louis County Historical Society. They're doing a Native American Day on the Water of Three Hills project, I do believe. $200 for the Interfaith Action St. Paul Department of Indian Work. $100 to the Or Carefree Living. Denials would be the Wounded Warrior Project and the National Museum of American Indians.
And just for the new committee members that are on the committee, these donations are run through the donation committee prior to coming here, and that's how those amounts are approved and.
Yeah, they started a donation committee because when RTC puts aside money for the donation line items, they're always running out of money by 6 months into the year. And so since they've added a donation committee, the donation committee usually takes whatever monies are set aside, divides it up quarterly, and we haven't been over budget since. So with their recommendations, and then it takes I guess a lot of the, like when there's denials, I would say, the bad feeling of having to deny somebody, a donation request, I guess. I know that was part of the past too, where kind of you always hate to say no to some things, but.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the donations? $800 for the St. Louis County Historical Society, $200 to the Interfaith Action St. Paul Department of Indian Work, and $100 to Or Carefree Living.
Move.
Moved by Travis, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Shane, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
The denials, we've already given to the Wounded Warrior Project this year,
Okay,
so, we try to keep those. Once you give to them, then we get a lot of chapters from throughout the rest of the United States that send them in. And so they try to keep, to like these organizations, a minimum of one per year. And the National Museum of American Indians, their requests they're huge.
they're quite high.
The minimum one is like $5,000, and being that we set aside 15,000 for our donation line item, that would eat up a third of it, so it's,
Okay. Any questions on the denials? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the denials to the Wounded Warrior Project, which we've already donated to, and the National Museum of the American Indian, due to the high limits for donation. Would be nice if we could donate those amounts, but.
Move.
Moved by Chief, is there a second? Second by Dave, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
I have nothing else on the agenda.
Call for a motion to adjourn.
Nobody wants to adjourn.
Before, that used to be the fastest motion.
Move.
Oh, moved by Shane, seconded by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Thank you all for coming.